Right, so now we get to the important part. We get to play with our clay. This is the make of clay that I particularly like. It's by Sculpey and it's the Primo range of Sculpey. And the reason I like it, being a teacher, I can go from colour to colour and it doesn't come off on your hands. A lot of the clays on the market you'll have to keep washing your hands or using wipes, and this is a bonus for me. It really is a good clay. It isn't too soft, isn't too hard, it's perfect, but really you buy the right clay for what you want to make. And on the back of it you can see that it gives all the instructions on the baking times and the temperatures. So it's a maximum 130, 15 to 30 minutes, and the rule of thumb is for every 1/4 inch you tend to bake your clay for 15 minutes. So that's the rule of thumb. Right, so where do we start? So first of all we're going to just cut open our clay, place it on our tile, and we're going to condition our clay. So put your 3 pieces together, take your roller and soften it. Start to roll your clay out. And this starts to warm up the plasticizers, which are the little particles inside your clay. Starts to warm them and make sure that you can start to make your lovely designs. So I'm just rolling this out with my acrylic roller. You can obviously use a clay roller. I have one here. Various makes on the market, models, from craft ones like this from hobby machines up to quite professional machines which are a lot more hard wearing. So this has a ratchet handle on it. You probably can't, can you see it says 1 to 9, and 9 is the thickest, 9 is the thinnest, sorry, and 1 is the thickest on this particular model. And then you would place your handle in this hole here, like so. And you've got another hole at the bottom of this, which you would place on the side of your table and the clamp would go through. So there are various makes and models of these, as I say, so it depends exactly what you're going to be using these for. Now I'm going to put the clay through my clay roller, and you'll see there it's nice and flat and smooth, and you keep doing that until when you fold it that doesn't happen. Can you see that that is cracked? Got a little bit of white clay there. Make sure you clean the rollers as well. See, that is slightly cracked there, and you keep doing that. You keep putting it on your tile, keep rolling it or putting it through your clay roller until it is really soft, so when you fold it in half that doesn't happen. Keep going and keep going, probably half a dozen times or so. Keep folding and keep rolling. Right, now we're going to move on to clay that I have prepared earlier, and we'll make our first cane. Clay I had earlier, and I conditioned earlier, and I've done the same to white, and then I've rolled this back up into a tube. Now you need to do that even though you're rolling it into a tube. Don't shortcut, because otherwise they'll crack when you start to elongate your pieces of cane, which I'll explain later. Then they'll start to crack in the middle. If they're not all soft, they won't stretch. So you roll that until the clay touches itself, and it leaves a little impression. So cut that in half, pinch it together like so, and you've then got like a licorice or a tube of clay. Okay. So I'm just going to roll that in my hand and then put that onto your tile and roll until that's sort of pencil thickness. Okay, I've got one I made earlier, and we're going to make a little cane out of this. Now this cane is called a lace cane. It's ever so pretty. It can be done with lots and lots of different colours or just black and white, and it looks beautiful. So now you need to cut these pieces into 6 pieces, So you're going to have 5 around the outside and 1 in the middle. So because I've got little measuring squares on my tile, I can do that. But don't worry, if you haven't got that, you can just put a ruler against it. I'm going to first cut into 2. I'll leave that one. I'm just going to use this one for now. And then cut into 3. Now, if you're not good at judging sizes, it'd be quite good to actually just mark it with your blade first and think, is that even, is that not even, that's not quite even, so I'll just go a little bit to the left or the right, like so. And then you start to place them together. So you place them together like this. So first into a triangle, then add another one, and another one, and another one, and you've basically got a daisy. Now you squash this in the middle, and then you pull. So you make it into an hourglass shape, like so, and then you pull. If you were to roll them in your hands, you'd then distort the pattern. You'd find that the petals start to move. So I'm just going to stop now, pop that down on my tile again, cut it in half. See, you've got 2 daisies, and I'm going to put those together. And then do the same thing. Make it into an hourglass shape. Just pull it slightly, don't do it too much. Cut it in half, put it back together. And gradually you'll see you're getting a web of design. Now you can keep going and keep going and keep going and make that as small as you want. It's really your choice. The design is down to you. But I'm going to stop there because I'd like to show you how quick it is to make a pendant out of this for those people who have probably not touched clay before. So I'm going to just use my acrylic roller just to make that into more of a rectangle, and the reason I do that is so when you cut your slices and put them edge to edge, they cover a piece of clay a lot easier than trying to cover the gaps if you've got rounds. So that is a rectangle. Now that is a cane. A cane is something where the pattern goes from one end to the other. It's like a stick of rock. That is what a cane is, something where the pattern goes from one end to the other. So I'm going to pop that down on my tile, and I'm going to cut that end off that's not very tidy, and I'm going to take a piece of conditioned clay, as before, exactly the same, just a flat piece of clay. I'm going to use my finer blade because I find that just easier to cut with. It's really up to you, and this is practice. It really is practice, trying to get uniform pieces of clay. There's no shortcutting, it really is practice, and the more you do it, the better it is, and the more even the slices. Now I'm just matching up very, very quickly. It can take more time. If you're at home, turn that around because it fits better that way. Obviously take more time if you're at home. Put a couple more slices on. Now you see I've cut that too quick, and it's cut one side and I've sliced it too thin the other, but don't worry, keep that and you can put this onto a bead or something later. So I'll put that to one side and take the slices I'm happy with and pop those together like so. Now I'm going to now go back to, remember in the last video we talked about greaseproof paper and cling film, etc. Now I've got some of this layout paper, greaseproof paper, parchment paper, similar products, and I'm going to just use my roller. I'm using this one because this is finer and you can see through it, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just rubbing the surface to get rid of those joins. I'll take that off. Now remove it from here. You can see there that they're quite smooth. You've got rid of those little gaps that were originally in your clay. So I'm going to put that back down again, like so. Give it one more rub because I can see one tiny little gap in the centre. Just rub with your finger and then roll. Your roller. Now you can choose, obviously you can choose what shape you want to make your pendant. It's really up to you. I've just grabbed the first cutter on the side here and I'm going to make it into an oval. Now I like this with a rounded edge, a domed edge. So a little tip is get some cling film, pop that over the top, make sure there aren't any creases in there, pull it nice and tight. Press down, just quickly press down, making sure it's cut all the way through. Take that off and remove your pendant. And there you have a really nice pendant, but the edges, the pattern has actually been pushed down towards the base of your pendant. Otherwise you'd probably see the join, but that's been pushed with the cling film down to the bottom of your pendant. And there is your really lovely lace pendant. Now that can be baked flat, it can be baked on a dome. It's your design, you can do what you want with that. But that's the first piece of jewellery that probably most people make, and I think it's lovely. It's really, really pretty. So put that to one side. There's your basic cane with black and white going all the way through the middle. Now onto your second cane, which I quite like to do a spiral for our second cane. So I'm taking a piece of black that I've conditioned, a piece of white I have conditioned, and just flatten them together. Now I'm going to take my blade, doesn't matter which one, and I'm just going to cut the edge at a 45-degree angle, like so. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. You'll see why in just one second. That is when you start to roll your spiral, sometimes you get a hole in the middle of the cane. This stops that because it just starts off with a tiny little curl of black on the edge of that white, and then keep rolling. You might find the edges come out a bit, just push them in as you're going, just take your time, push them in, like so. And then when you get to the other end, you can see where I've cut that at a 45-degree angle, so when you push that together, you don't see any white, it's a really nice seam, just a pure black seam, and there's your spiral cane. Now you can do that in the same way as we did the last one, just roll in the middle, but because this hasn't got any petals or what have you, this you can roll on your tile without distorting what's inside. So, like so, and cut that off, and there is your spiral. Now you can do the same if you wanted to, like we've just done with the lace cane, but do a spiral lace cane. You can do so many things with all these canes, it really is your design. So there is your spiral cane, and the next one that we're going to do is a striped cane. And it's so simple. You take the conditioned, again black and white clay, place on top of each other, and I'm just going to cut that in half and just pop that one just through the roller just for a second, and you'll see the difference between the two. Right, so if I cut that in half and pop that on top, and cut that in half and pop that on top again, you see we've got a striped block of clay. With this one, I've popped this through the pasta machine on the thickest setting, and I'm doing exactly the same, but you can see on this one, if I just cut the edge off a minute just to neaten it up, you've got a finer stripe. So it depends what you want in your design. Okay, now this looks really lovely put around your canes that you just made. So you could take a simple black and white cane like we made earlier, push that together, make sure that you follow on with black, white, and not two blacks, like so. Let's put one more, That's it. Might need half of that actually, because I don't think I've got enough room to get in the hole with the stripe. So press that together, roll that between your fingers, and if I cut that now, you'll see the difference between the one end and the other. It's just a different looking cane. Just makes it look a little bit more dramatic. Okay, so that's nice for the centre of a flower actually, it's really pretty. So the striped cane is really, really useful. So those really are your three basic canes. You've got your bullseye cane, which is like a stick of rock. You have your spiral and you have your stripe. But there's one other thing that you probably think, well, when on earth am I going to use this, which is your corrugated blade that you get with your two blades. If you want to make beads that are really, really simple, you can take two blocks, one black, one white, obviously, slice edge to edge. These are great if you want to make them really tiny actually, they work really, really well. And pop the two, oops, stick the two together, and just push. Now I've done them large so you can see them. But these can look really, really fun actually, if you just do a bracelet of lots and lots of cubes like that. Can you see? They look really, really fun. So make that on a small scale and you've got some fabulous beads. And how long did that take? No time at all. Right, well, you've learnt quite a lot, haven't you? You've learnt the bullseye cane and you've learnt how to put the striped cane around it. So here is that striped cane. You've got the thick cane and you've got the finer one. You've learnt how to use the bullseye cane in a lace cane and of course create your first pendant. You've learnt how to do a spiral, and those are really useful for the centre of flowers, etc. Look really, really pretty. Learnt how to do the spiral, and of course the fun little cubes, which are great to make. So I hope you enjoy the first first step on your journey into polymer clay, and I hope to see you very, very soon.